Hey, I'm Kenneth Wajda. I'm a professional photographer here in Colorado. Welcome to another one of my weekly photo chats. So today I want to talk about camera stores. So on my trip across the country, I ended up stopping at two camera stores that I can think of. One was Midwest Photo in Columbus, Ohio, which I had a fun time in, and they have a fun used department in the back, and I really enjoyed visiting them. And I had a good conversation with the saleswoman. And I picked up something, but that's for another show. But I also went to one in Pittsburgh, not Pittsburgh, in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And in Allentown, Pennsylvania, there was a shop, and I walked inside and I looked around and I thought there wasn't much in the way of used gear. There was new gear, there were racks of bags, racks of accessories, racks of umbrellas, and those kinds of things you see in photo stores. But there wasn't photography. And I know when I go to my local Mike's Camera, if you walk in there, it feels like gear, gear, gear. Bags, tripod support, picture frames, film, accessories. But it doesn't feel like photography. And I wonder if the camera stores are missing out by not selling the sizzle. They're just selling the steak. Because it would seem to me, right now, you don't need a camera. You have a phone, it's good enough. Mostly you do is go, hey, look where I'm at. And then the other person goes, oh, I see it. And then everybody throws it away. And in the photo store, they could print a photo 12 by 18. They could print some photographs from local photographers, some commercial photographers, some pro photographers, and they could show work that is printed large enough that this phone wouldn't be able to make a print that good. They could shoot, or they could show a shoot that included nature photography and large format and wildlife photography, which you can't shoot with a phone. And they could show sports, and they could show people photographs, portraits that don't look great with a 28 millimeter lens in your phone. And they could make it so when you walk in there, you're going, wow, this is a photographic experience. And I know one place that does it. The Leica stores do it. I've been to the Leica store in Los Angeles. They have a huge gallery. I've been to the Leica store in Washington, D.C. Half the store is cameras in showcases, and then some books for sale, and then half the gallery is a workplace for workshops and a gallery space. And you go in there and you feel like I'm in a place for photography because I'm surrounded by photographs. And I wonder if the camera stores, as much as they need to boost sales and they need to get more things off those shelves because they need to stay relevant before they all close, if they wouldn't serve a better purpose of selling photographs instead of camera bags. Because I know they need to sell the camera bag and that photograph takes up space, but they're not letting the person who walks in the door go, oh my God, I want to shoot a tiger like that. Oh my God, I want to shoot my grandma like that. They're not showing them any reason that they even need anything other than their phone. Because all they're showing is walls of cameras that look pretty much all the same to amateur. And then walls of tripods and bags, and nothing's very sexy about any of that. Now, if you're a gearhead, yeah, you can go gear out and say, okay, I'm going to go play with all the cameras. But when it comes down to it, you're just buying a camera. You're not buying photography. And my question that I'm posing is, should we as a photography community and a camera store business model be selling photography? Should, when you walk into that store, should there be an incredibly large print that is either backlit and knocks you over, like they used to put giant photographs by Kodak up in Grand Central Station, and they knocked people out? The store in Allentown, I remember, there were some pictures up along way above eye level, and they were almost just like decoration in the store. They weren't anything that you would go, oh my God, look at those photographs. You wouldn't even really notice them. And I think that I just would like to, I guess we would find out if it works or not. Maybe it wouldn't. But the idea of, does it matter if people come into the camera store and they're not sold just cameras, but they're sold photography? They're sold memories of their parents on a ship on a cruise. Or they're sold, photographs, close-ups of their little leaguer playing and sliding into second base instead of 10 megapixels, look at this bag and look at this tripod and how lightweight it is. Okay, but it's not photography. It's just the mechanics. It's the steak, but it's an uncooked piece of meat. It's not the smell of the sizzle and the sound of the sizzle and the smell of the savory coming off the steak. I really think that we as a community need to promote photography, because photography is the thing that is somewhat lacking right now and suffering, because this really isn't photography. Hey, look, I just got something to look at for a second. That's just sort of a small window into something. Hey, look, I got to the stadium. Hey, here I am. Great. But it's not a photograph. Nobody's going to ever go back to it. Nobody has any interest in seeing it again. Nobody is going to save it anywhere. It's going to get mixed in with the glut of cloud photographs that we're all overpaying for cloud storage that we don't need because we're never going to use those photographs. And the goal of photography is to make photographs and to bring in some local photographers, to bring in some famous photographers. If the camera store could bring in work by Gary Winogrand or Stephen Shore, and Stephen was going to be in Colorado and he could actually give a talk. Isn't that much more exciting as a photographer community to go to the local camera store and see photographs? To see photographs by somebody who we already have a sense of who they are and we like their work? To bring in a famous National Geographic photographer or a photojournalist from, one of the big sports magazines? Wouldn't that be fun to see their work and to print it big and to show, if you have this kind of gear, you can do this? Maybe you're not shooting Major League Baseball, but you could shoot your little leaguer. So I'm certainly supportive of camera stores. I want camera stores to continue to exist. I certainly think they need to combine a way for any photo I take with a digital camera, I can automatically email to somebody. Somehow, this has to be a live unit, because the only reason people use this over a camera is because, well, it's lightweight, but also because it has transmittability. I'm surprised the camera manufacturers haven't figured out how to make a small phone plan that can make it so that we can give you internet. You won't be able to make phone calls, but you can use it for Wi-Fi and transfer stuff to places like an email, because that's what people want to do. Great. At least we can make great photographs. But then we can also make prints, and we can also make displays, and we can actually make real photographs that wow you when you walk into the store and go, wow, now that's a photograph. I could never make that with this. All right, that's my chat about all things camera store. Hey, if you're enjoying these, hit the subscribe button. If you could support, hit the Patreon. If there's a local camera store that would like me to help you and work with you to help find photographers and create displays, I would love to work with you. All right, I'll be back next week. We'll talk more photography. As always, here's to good light.